Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Before I do my news video today, I wanted to go ahead and go over this. Someone did a little bit of research, and I have done a lot of research on this in the past and have done videos about this, but I thought that I would bring it up again because we do have a lot new community members since the last time that I covered this subject matter. And it is the grand solar minimum that we are currently in. It has started and it's called the modern grand minimum, and it is supposed to go from 2020 to 2055. So we are just in the beginning phases. I want to show you, and this is all researchable. You can look at all of this and research it yourself. Go on the internet, take a look at every one of these minimums that I'm going to cover with you to show you that we are entering a cycle. This is a cycle. Grand solar minimums are a cycle, just like regular solar minimums and solar maximums are cycles. So be advised that we will enter into a shortage of sustenance worldwide, meaning that there's not going to be enough calories to feed everyone in the world, and people will succumb to hunger and starvation. Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue with the video, I just want to tell you about nutrient survival and what Eric Christensen did. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to be happy that I tell you about this or not, but during yesterday's live stream, which I was rewatching, I noticed that he is giving until the end of the month 20% off if you use this code right here. Now, I've never seen Nutrient Survival give 20% off on anything. So take advantage of this if and only if you're in the market for freeze-dried foods. If you don't have all of the foods that you normally eat already in your pantry for at least 6 months to a year, I would recommend that you do that first. But if you're in the market for freeze-dried food, take a look at the link in the description of the video and use this coupon code right here. Do not use AP10. Use this coupon code until the end of September 30th, for 20% off. That's an awesome deal. So definitely take advantage of that if you're in the market for nutrient survival, ladies and gentlemen. The link is in the description of my videos, every video that you see, but that is the best deal that I've ever seen nutrient survival give. Let's go ahead and start with the Dalton minimum, which was the last grand solar minimum that we had before this one that we have just entered. And ladies and gentlemen, these minimums, they have been confirmed. We are in a grand solar minimum right now. It is just the beginning of it. Think of all of the erratic weather events that we've been having. Those are all circumstances that happen within a grand solar minimum, right? So the Dalton minimum lasted from 1790 to 1820. I will leave this up for a little bit. That way, if you want to pause the video and read the entire thing, you can, but I'm just going to skim through this. That way, this video doesn't take too long. But I want to concentrate on one of the things that we can do to insulate ourselves from what's coming. Of course, we're going to have to be able to be as self-reliant and self-sustainable as we possibly can be. But if you take a look here, it says major food shortages across the northern hemisphere, massive famine in China. This period coincides with the fact that there are almost no trees older than 200 years in all of Russia. And this one happened during the year without a summer as well. So in 1816, there was a year without a summer where I believe it was Mount Tambora that erupted, and it created like dust or sulfur in the atmosphere where it reflected back the energy from the sun, enabling light to bounce back out into space and not bringing as much energy as we needed in order to grow foods. Well, volcanic eruptions are symptoms of grand solar minimums. Earthquakes are symptoms of grand solar minimums. You know, erratic weather event. It doesn't mean that the earth is going to freeze over. It just means that there's going to be erratic weather events, mainly because our atmosphere is now a lot thinner. It's not as strong as it normally is, and it allows in cosmic rays, which cause those erratic weather events. They cause cloud nucleation, meaning the formation of clouds, which also redirect sunlight back out into space. So this is not something that I can do in 15 minutes. You would have to do your own research to convince yourself that we are now in a grand solar minimum, and it has a lot of years left before it's over, right? So we can prepare for this and things will be okay. Now, if you're asking yourself, well, I'm already 80 years old, you know, what does it matter to me? Well, what about your children? What about your grandchildren? You can prepare for them as well. Let's take a look at the Maunder minimum. So the Maunder minimum happened between 1645 and 1715. Poor weather during the fluctuation contributed to harvest failures, mass starvation, and political crises across the globe. It featured some extraordinarily poor weather, such as great frosts, floods, severe storms, unseasonable snowfalls, and droughts. Ladies and gentlemen, don't tell me that these things are not happening or have been happening. Maybe not at the speed in which they'll progress to as the years go on and we get deeper into the grand solar minimum, but they're already starting to happen. All you have to do is turn on the news or do a little bit of research on the internet. The Sporer minimum between 1460 and 1550, and the life loss was great. Let's see, it says here that inhabitants of Mexico and Central America, 27 to 80% of the population were lost. About 90% of the population of indigenous Western Hemisphere died in the early 1500s. And these are all symptoms of what happens during a grand solar minimum. Let's take a look at the Wolf minimum. 750 years ago, volcanic events between 1315 and 1320 caused damaged crops and mass cattle death. Great famine occurred around the same time, resulting in the mass death of 7 to 10 million people. The Black Death, the bubonic plague that killed 75 to 200 million people, around half of Europe's population. And this was named the worst year to be alive, where a volcanic eruption in Iceland caused climate cooling, resulting in crop failures, then famine. And with crop failures and famine, what follows? Usually disease. Plague that lasted, about 8 years, taking 30 to 50 million lives. And going all the way back 3,000 years, the Indus civilization collapsed, 1000 BC. Experts don't know why, but they think that it was climate change and famine. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's kind of odd that they think that it was climate change, and that was 3,000 years ago. And by the way, thank you very much to the person that sent me this. This is a great subject to talk about, because with everything going on in the world, we forget about the things that are right in front of us that we're really not seeing. This should be a great motivator for you to go ahead and continue to prepare. If you're not preparing, to start preparing. Nothing is going to stop this from happening. It doesn't matter how much they say that it's your fault. It's happening right now. And the reason I wanted to go over this with you, and I'll leave the rest of these here so that you can take a look at them and see for yourself and read for yourself, do your own research, all right? So we're going to go ahead and leave it off at that right here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and work on my news videos today because we do have a few things to cover. Having said that, hey, take advantage of the nutrient survival deal. Like I said, 20% off. I've never seen them do that. I wish they'd allow me to do a promotion on my channel with 20% off of their stuff. That would be awesome. You know, like an AP bucket, 20% off. But it doesn't really matter. You're getting 20% off either way. It doesn't matter where you get it from. Just use that code, all right, ladies and gentlemen? If you're in the market, let me explain something really quick. How I stand, or where I stand with freeze-dried foods. You all know that I love Nutrient Survival, and I have no problem promoting them. I am affiliated with them. Why? Because they are an outstanding company with awesome people. But I digress. So if you only have a few months worth of food, you shouldn't be buying freeze-dried foods. You should be stocking up your pantry to have at least 6 months to a year worth of foods that you eat every day. Okay. Now, if you have 6 months to a year, preferably a year, of things that you eat every single day, and you're in the part of your preparedness plan where you're just filling in the gaps, and you want to get freeze-dried foods, then yes, I think there is a place for freeze-dried foods in a prepper pantry, right? And like I said, Nutrient Survival is the very best that there is as far as nutrition density, and nutrition is very important. Having said that, have a great day. We will talk to you here in a few hours as soon as I get this other video up for the day. God bless you all.